Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to Madam Jo and my fellow classmates. So today I am bringing a very big and heavy topic called reinforcing national exams in Malaysia. So as new students, we have faced primary school achievement test UPSR, but we haven't faced Form 3 assessment PT3. Am I right? Yes. Okay, so I believe most of us here are in a very good state to argue about whether PT3 and UPSI should be brought back, since we have faced one of them and we have experienced how not having them feels like. Okay, so now let's begin with the first argument. I am bringing the strongest argument, which why UPSR and PT3 should be brought back. Okay, before I begin, may I ask, who here believe PT3 and UPSR should be brought back? May you raise up? Okay, thank you. How about those who think UPSR and PT3 should not be brought back? Okay, thank you. So the first key argument that I think most of us would agree is that the students, the youngsters, need a common yardstick. What is common yardstick? What is common yardstick? It is where we should measure everyone with the same test. So the argument begins when the current government, we use class-based assessment, PBD, to examine the students. So how is that a problem? I mean, it is a continuous exam and it should not occur as a problem. It becomes a problem because of overcrowded class and the teacher readiness. Firstly, overcrowded class. Most of the class in Malaysia now, they have among 25 to 30 students per class. Imagine yourself in the position as the teacher. How could you actually make sure, how could you ensure each one of the students get the same treatment from you? Am I correct? Yes. Okay, so the next one is the teacher readiness. As us IPG students who would become a teacher in the future, let's be honest, not every day is a good day for us. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes we have our own personal problems that becomes the thing that stop us from doing well in the class. So same goes as the teachers in the class. Sometimes the teacher are not well prepared with the assessment and everything. That's what makes the students can be measured less fairly among all the students in the classes. That is the argument, the strongest argument that exists now in the whole Malaysia talking, which is why we think UPSR and PT3 should be brought back. Not just because of nostalgia, but because of this problem. But now, let's take a look at what the Ministry of Education think and why they actually postponed the exam up until now. So the first issue is we believe that UPSR and PT3 are double-edged sword. Why? Personally, we all have seated for UPSR, right? Yes. If we can recall what happened on those days, most of the classes are based on what the teachers think would appear in the exam. Instead of us learning deeply and use our creativity as the student to answer the question, to take the exam, as the students are putting in the rehearsal position. We are given repeated question that we have to memorize. The proof, we just faced SPM 2 years ago. Does anyone here still remember what is chapter 3 for physics?
No.
I think most of us do not remember it. Why? Because we tend to use exams, we tend to study just for memorization instead of critical thinking for our long-term usage. So this cause a lifelong learning goals. So that is the first argument why the Ministry of Education eliminates PT3 and UPSR until this day and continue to use class-based assessment PBD in their students. The second argument here is human cost based on the grades. So when we have exams in UPSR, we will face 6 subjects. In PT3, it's based on our elective and everything. So let's say UPSR, we have 6 A's. The students who will have 6 A's would be praised by the parents, would be praised by the whole community, while the students that got less easy grades, sometimes being bashed, sometimes being lowered, just because of the alphabet that they have on their exam slip. Same goes to the PT3 students that being pressured by everyone around them, not just parents, but teachers and friends, and the whole expectation from the whole nation. So this makes the students have come to conclusion that grades equals to their self-worth. This cause long-term anxiety. Why? Why do we still use SPM? Why don't we just use PBD for the Form 5s too? Because according to some studies, humans develop a more mature thinking after 16 years old. That's why SPM still exists until now, but we hold PT3 and UPSR for Year 6 and Form 3 students. So after these two arguments, I hope that most of us has changes our perspective. But what has to be the solution? So personally, I think the best solution for this issue is for us to have hybrid system where we use the exams. We redesign the exams as checkpoints for the students, meaning the exams won't be too heavy for the students. They won't have exam slips that will represent their self-worth, and the students won't feel too much stress to learn their syllabus throughout the years. And the teachers can also ensure that students do well in every chapter instead of just memorizing what will be tested on their exam paper. I think that is all for now. Thank you.